Welcome back to another episode of the NFL Draft Bible Player Spotlight Show. I am your host, Chris Shanafelt, bringing you the names that you need to know first since 2002. Visit NFLDraftBible.com. We're on location out at the Senior Bowl in Mobile, Alabama. We got Joe Everett over there covering that. Last week I was out at the Shrine Game covering the 93rd Annual East-West Shrine Game, and now we're back doing the Player Spotlight shows. And it's really a pleasure to now welcome onto the show linebacker out of Eastern Illinois University, Rich East High School alum like myself. He's Nick Horne, who's currently gearing up for the 2018 NFL Draft. Nick, appreciate you taking some time this evening. How's everything going?
It's going good, man. Working hard, getting ready for the pro day.
Yeah, absolutely. And for those who aren't familiar with yourself and your game, Nick, I remember, coming out of Rich East. I mean, you were, an all-around player, playing both offense and defense, as most high school players are. And then you began your collegiate career at the Division II level, playing at Winona State, where you were a defensive back. What was your experience like there at Winona State, and how did the opportunity to jump into the Division I ranks to play at Eastern Illinois come about?
Division II, Winona is a great program. It was, I would have definitely played there probably my first year, if I never got injured. Just played safety there mostly. And then, the change came to D1 because of, just wanted to move closer to home. And, I always wanted to play Division I football. So, I just took the opportunity. I didn't really talk to the, East Illinois coaches. I tried calling them and things of that nature. Never got a return call or anything. That's when I told myself if they don't ever call back, I just go to school and get my degree and just give up football. But then when I got there at East Illinois, kept going up to the office and talking to the coaches, and they kind of were pushing me away. They didn't really give me an opportunity until I think it was like week 9, I believe it was. They didn't even give me a locker. I always remember that, man. They didn't even give me a locker. They just gave me some pads and said I'll be on the scout teams. I guess they needed some scout players. But that's how that all went. And it was really nerve wracking. I was kind of scared to giving up my college career. And, like you said, in high school, I played almost everything, running back to receiver to quarterback, linebacker to safety. So I'm prepared for anything really. So that's how it all went.
And it's pretty amazing when you put it that way. I mean, they weren't giving you much of an opportunity. It seemed like there at Eastern Illinois, you kind of had to kick your foot into the door and kind of force your way there. And now looking back at all the success, and we'll get to that in just a bit, it seems it's almost like a perfect ending to what was a story that did have a lot of struggle and a doubt, I got to think, in between. But at the end, all works out. And again, going back to your high school days, Nick, at Rich East, I remember you were a standout on both sides of the ball again. I remember, I believe it was your senior year, you're playing either fullback or running back against Rich South, or maybe it was Rich Central, and you had a really big game. You broke right onto the scene, over 200 yards rushing. And if I'm not mistaken, you did have some experience playing linebacker in high school as well. But when did you really hone in on that linebacker position? Again, playing at Winona State, you were a defensive back. Coming to Eastern Illinois, they bring you back to that linebacker position. When did the coaching staff at Eastern Illinois, what did the coaching staff at Eastern Illinois see in you to move you back to that linebacker position and think that you could become eventually a reliable starter?
Well, it all started in practice. When I played safety, they seen that I could cover field real good. But when I came down to hit, I was very determined. And if you know, now we have a person in the NFL right now, Kamu Grugier here playing. And he was ahead of me, and my coach Hodges, he coaches for the Saints now. Just told me, like, when I see you play, you guys are very similar. You're just bigger, stronger kind of guy. So he was like, and Kamu, I think he had like one more season left. And, so he's like, I think we should move here because of, you'll have a great opportunity to play your junior year and start, because he'll have to leave. So I really didn't care. I just wanted to get on the football field and play. So after my suspension year, because of moving up in divisions, I got the opportunity. They just put me at linebacker, and I mean, to me, honestly, you can put me anywhere, and I'm gonna learn, and I'm gonna see what I have to do, and I'm gonna do what I have to do. It's just how I am as a player, and it's just how it was in high school. Like, they moved me to, like you said, against Rick South. I pulled, I think it was 250 or something like that, 240. I got 2 days before that, they told me I was moving running back. I don't really cry about it or anything. I just do what I have to do and do what's best for my team to win.
Yeah, absolutely. The right mindset to have, especially if you're looking to move on to the next level. And let's pick it up right where you left it off at, Nick. I mean, you did have some pretty big shoes to fill, to say the least. Once you did become the full-time starter there at Eastern Illinois, you're replacing not only a all-conference linebacker, but somebody who did go on to be a draft pick by the New England Patriots. And now he's suiting up for the Philadelphia Eagles to take on the Patriots in Super Bowl 52, and that's Kamu Grugier-Hill. Any chance you've been able to kind of keep in touch with him at all? Has he been able to give you any advice as you kind of look to follow in his footsteps coming from Eastern Illinois to make it to the NFL?
Yeah. Me and him talk almost every week. I always wish him good luck on his games. He's wishing me good luck. We've been talking about the pro day process and things of that nature, and what he did wrong and the things I could do to help me improve. I mean, me and him, we're close. Like, cause his senior year, he had to sit out for 2 games because of a broken collarbone. So I started. That's when I actually made my name in Charleston. We were off those 2 games. I had I think 8 tackles and 10 tackles and a touchdown. My good playing also helped us make it to the playoffs because we needed both of those wins. And people were kind of like you said, they were big shoes to fill. And I mean, I saw it as an opportunity. He's a great player, and I even make a bigger, cause he started, I think, 3 years in a row, at Eastern. Only got the chance to do 2, but, he was just, and he taught me a lot, at Eastern and now, even with him being in the NFL, he's teaching me a lot, on my process to get into my pro day.
And obviously, again, he was a hell of a player. And I know he did have some interest even before that Northwestern Pro Day in which he really just blew the roof off the building. But, I'm sure you seeing firsthand, you see exactly how much of an impact a successful Pro Day can have, kind of seeing what he was able to do and the numbers he was able to kind of put together at the Pro Day. Again, interest was certainly there before the Pro Day, but I'm not so sure he would have heard his name called if it wasn't for the ridiculous numbers he put up at that Northwestern Pro Day a couple years back. Now, Nick, you are currently training for your Pro Day at Michael Johnson Sports Performance down in Texas. Those who follow the draft or follow the NFL Combine, they know that this is one of the top facilities in all of the country. Take us through some of the drills that they have you doing, and how are they making you better come Pro Day?
Well, they're just teaching me the little things. I mean, coming in, I'm already, they already say that you're an athlete. I'm a pretty good athlete, I believe. They're just tweaking my body up, I guess you could say, to be even better of an athlete. I think they specialize in that very well. Their therapy and physical treatment is great. It's probably better than my college treatment was. But to also go back on what you said about Kamu and him coming out, me and him are mostly the same. He ended up going to EFT in training though, but he wished he could have went to a bigger facility. But coming out of college, I mean, he's the same, all conference, free agent. They didn't think he was going to do too good in the combine, but in the pro day. But he ended up blowing the roof off, and I mean, that's what he told me. He said it made him to get his name called, and I mean, that's what I'm gonna do. I mean, we both are underrated players. He told me he didn't get invited to any bowl games or anything like that either. Just like I didn't. I was really shocked on that. I feel like I played great football my 2 years, and was one of the underrated players that tried to get their name up. And I build respect from all the coaches around the OVC. Even like one of the biggest ones was Jacksonville State. They're a big school. Well, not big school, but like they play good football. Had a conversation with the coach after the game. He's just talking to me saying how he feels like how great of a player I am, and I'm one of the most like low key players in the OVC. So I'm just getting ready for that pro day to do the same thing Kamu did, shock everybody, and get the scouts' attention.
Absolutely, and in the end, it doesn't matter if you play in the Senior Bowl, if you play in the Shrine Game. It doesn't matter. In the end, it's can you play these scouts? Obviously, there's over 350 draft picks each year. These scouts are going over hundreds and hundreds of prospects, tapes, and pro days, and all that. And again, if you can play, and they feel that you can play, then they'll find you, no doubt about it. And we're still very early on in this process, Nick, but any chance you've been able to meet with any NFL scouts? I mean, any idea how NFL teams may view you as of right now, January 24th, just over 3 months prior to the NFL draft?
Yeah, well, I spoke to a few of them through my senior season at Eastern. They mostly look at me as a football player. I mean, some of them said special teams. Some of them asked, can I put on weight to be a true linebacker and still have my speed? So, I mean, mostly what I told them is I'll give you whatever you need. I mean, that's just how the person I am. You need me to put on weight and you need me to be the same speed. That's what I'm doing. So, come up to what my plan is for the pro day. I'm going to come in as a true linebacker. I'm going to try to weigh in at 225, probably the biggest I've ever been. I usually play around 218. And I'm going to put up numbers that I could probably, my aim is to do safety numbers. So that's my plan on that.
Hey, give us a sneak peek, man. Any specific numbers written down?
Yeah, not yet, man. I got working. Then I give a sneak peek after that. Still working.
All right, sounds good. Again, you are training at Michael Johnson Sports Performance, one of the top facilities in the country to get these athletes ready for those pro days, for the NFL combines, and so on and so on. Again, we're chatting with the 2018 NFL draft prospect. He's the linebacker out of Eastern Illinois University, Rich East alum, Nick Horne, here on, again, the NFL Draft Bible Player Spotlight Show. And Nick, you are coming off of a year in which you led the Panthers with 71 tackles, 11.5 tackles for loss, 2 forced fumbles, and a fumble recovery. Again, you're named second team All-OVC, second team All-Conference. You were a starter your last 2 years at East. And if I'm not mistaken, you came over from Winona as a walk-on. Again, as you mentioned earlier, it almost seemed like Eastern wasn't too interested in you. You kind of had to, force your foot into the door yourself, and that's exactly what you did. You eventually earned a scholarship at EIU. What would you attribute all the success you've had over the last few years to? And did you ever think that, I know it's always been the dream, but did you ever think that you would actually be where you are today, training at a top-notch facility and being looked at as a legit NFL draft prospect?
Not really. I always believed in myself, but sometimes it gets hard. Especially when I don't have the publicity as much other teams. I watch linebackers from other schools, and I just know I can outplay them, and I'm more of an athlete than them. And it's just mostly. It's been like this since high school. Coming from Rich East, we're a small school compared to Crete-Monee. Crete-Monee has about 2 athletes in the NFL right now, where you have Rich East, where you don't have really too many athletes that ever even went to the NFL from there. So, I believe, now my confidence is very high. That's the only thing I can do. I could just prove myself like I always have been since high school.
You know what? I'm glad you mentioned Crete-Monee, and yeah, they have a couple receivers currently in the NFL. Obviously, former first-round draft pick now with the Minnesota Vikings, Laquan Treadwell, and Lance Lenoir, who's seen some action on the Dallas Cowboys active roster late last season and was on the practice squad for them throughout the entire regular season. Do you have any nice matchups that come to mind against them back in your Rich East days?
I speak to them and say, I don't know why we always came in second place to them. Every year I was at East from my freshman year to senior year, we came in second place behind them. Kwani told me, he's like, man, just keep working at it. He told me that on Twitter. He's seen one of my games that I had a big game or something like that. He's just saying, keep at it. I was wishing Lance good luck last year when he was getting ready for the draft, and I was kind of shocked that he was picked where he went. I think he had a crazy career at Western. We played them for 2 years straight. He's a wonderful receiver. He's going to be great in the NFL one day. I just know it for a fact.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And, I think Crete-Monee, they might have another guy, Jalen Dunlap, the former University
Yep.
of Illinois defensive back. He may get a look in the later rounds or as a priority free agent this year. And we're currently playing your highlights right now, Nick. And, a lot of great plays, a lot of athletic plays, especially from the linebacker position. If you're able to recommend just one game for an NFL scout to go back and check out, what game would come first in your mind? I mean, to me at least, and I think around, if I'm not mistaken, I think it was right after the Miami of Ohio game. You and I chatted a little bit, and that I think is a game that certainly comes up to my mind. That same 2016 season, Illinois State. I was there in person. I thought you had a very solid game in that one as well. But what do you say? I mean, which one game would you recommend NFL scout if they only had time to check out one of your games? I mean, which one game would you recommend?
That'd actually be tough. It'd actually be between two games. My senior year at Tennessee State, had 12 tackles, a pick, forced fumble in the one game. Played tremendous in that game, I believe. That was off film because they had a lot of keys they were giving up. Also my junior year, Miami of Ohio was definitely a good one in Eastern Kentucky. Left the game with I think 10 tackles, 3 TFLs, 2 sacks, and a forced fumble. So I believe, that was a great game I had too. Out of those two, I think one of those would be probably my top games, I think.
Okay, and you're bringing up games from your senior season, the most recent, so I'm sure, scouts will certainly like that as well. Talking opponents, playing in a pretty tough Ohio Valley Conference, playing against teams in the FBS each and every year, and playing against teams in a very tough Missouri Valley Conference as well. How about individual opponents? Was there ever a quarterback, a running back, maybe even a tight end or a lineman that every time you've seen their team on your schedule, you kind of circled and had to make sure you were familiar with that player when they're on the field?
Definitely. One team I guess you could say is Jacksonville State. They just were packed with athletes from the offensive line to the receiver spot to the running back. Actually training with one of the athletes right now, Siren Neal, the corner. He's down here too at MJP. We chatted up a little bit. I think the OVC is one of the most slept on conferences. I think we play really good football. It's just hard because at the level we're at, a lot of coaches leave and then we get new things. Like me, I went through 3 different defensive coordinators out of my 2 years I was there, or 2.5 years, I guess you could say. That's just the hardest thing. But if you like Jacksonville, I think they have a consistent coaching staff. But other teams, I know they switch it up a lot, and it's hard on the program, and it's hard on the players because now we're learning things new and things of that nature. This is very tough.
How do you feel about Kim Dameron, head coach at Eastern Illinois, and the direction he has that program going in? Do you think he can continue? I know you guys finished 6-5 the last 2 years. What about the future? What does the future look like for Eastern Illinois football?
Coach Dameron is a great coach. He taught me a lot. He's a real old school type coach. Really black and gray with it. He doesn't take any slack. He held me accountable for a lot of things. And Eastern football program, I think, is going to take a big step this year. The coaching staff is coming back. We were young last year, but we had a couple players that got in there, and I believe they played great football. The hardest thing is just going to be young. I think we had like 24 seniors or something like that. Our two biggest playmakers on the defensive end, me and Bradley Dewberry, are getting ready for the pro day. So, it's going to be hard because they're going to have to find somebody else to get turnovers and things of that nature, but I think they're going to step it up and do it.
All right, sounds good. Final question for you, Nick. Again, appreciate you taking some time this evening. It's a question I wrap up every interview with, and let's say all 32 NFL general managers are tuned into this very interview. Why should they want the linebacker out of Eastern Illinois, Nick Horne, a part of their team? What's going to make that team better if Nick Horne is a part of their organization?
Well, because I mean, I never was given anything. I always had to go get it. I'm a worker. I'm a hard worker. I learn everything that I have to do, and I like to master it, I guess you could say. I look at other players, at veterans and things of that nature, and learn a lot of things that I don't even have to talk to them about. I can just watch them and learn. I'm a tremendous athlete. I'm a ball hawk. I'm gonna get you the ball, get it. I play in any type of defense. I play special teams. I can run down there and hit somebody. I really can do anything they ask me to do. And I know they look for that. I mean, that's what Kamu told me. He was like, they don't really put him at linebacker because he's kind of undersized. But he says with me, he knows how I play, and I can easily play a linebacker position at the NFL level. If I had to compare myself to anybody, I would say Telvin Smith from the Jaguars. That's one person. Him and Deion Buchanan are two people I look at tremendously. Those are the numbers that I'm aiming for. So, I mean, that was their question there. So, the numbers they put up are the ones that I'm trying to come in and put up. And I'm going to be heavier than them. I'm just going to have to do what I have to do and earn it.
And obviously, two of the fastest running backs, if not the fastest linebackers in the NFL. So if you could, resemble the pro day numbers that they put up, obviously that'll obviously do very well for you in this NFL draft process. And Nick, you know what? I lied. Final question here. Now that we do know what the matchup is for the Super Bowl, let me get a Super Bowl prediction, man. New England Patriots, Philadelphia Eagles. Who you got winning and why?
I gotta go with my man, Kamu. I just got to, man. This is my boy. I really want him to win the Super Bowl, man. I know he's worked so hard for it, man. I just know his story, and man, I just really I am a Tom Brady fan. That's probably my greatest player of all time. But I just want to see Kamu win the Super Bowl.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, we'll see. I mean, they obviously have one of the top defenses in the NFL, and we'll see if the Nick Foles-led Philadelphia Eagles could upset the Tom Brady New England Patriots. But Nick, really appreciate you taking some time this evening. It was great catching up with you and talking a little bit about your collegiate career and what you have in store for over the next few months. Any final words before we let you go?
Nope, that's it.
All right, sounds good. Well, thanks again, Nick, and again, be sure, NFLDraftBible.com, you can find this interview and other NFL draft material, bring you the names that you need to know first since 2002. Nick Horne, linebacker out of Eastern Illinois. Be on the lookout, everybody. Nick, thanks again, man.
Thank you.